Yo. Wait, why did it not turn down? What? Why is it so... Okay, hang on. I turned that down over there. Why is it not acting like it's turned down over here? Hey, what up, Hanson? Hang on. That acts like that's so much louder. I don't know. Hey, how are we doing, everybody? What up, Loot Loot? Yo. Okay, so we're doing something weird, but it's all part of research that I've got going on because I've got videos that are coming out here soon regarding Zweihander and the Zweihander Reforged stuff. I've been doing some research into Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play, and I'm kind of trying to field some ideas. I'm kind of coming up with some research notes about character creation in this system, sort of what all is going down, and trying to formulate some thoughts. And I kind of figured, like, in going through this system, maybe I could bounce some ideas off of you all as well, and just kind of see what we come up with in the end. But yeah. So I made about 3 different characters so far in Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing. There's a lot to be said about this engine. I really like a lot about what this system has got going on. I also have some worries. And yeah, oh yeah, the character creation stuff looks super cool. But I like what's going on because it feels very unique. I don't know of too many systems that really hit this kind of a niche, right? Because this is the originator, and then Zweihander was a retro clone of Warhammer 2nd Edition. Because, well, not that we're bioessentialism stuff out of 2 and 11. No, actually, no. The stuff that happened in that was like maybe some edgelordy sort of stuff, but no, the bioessentialism stuff and all that, like all the negativity I've seen sent towards Zweihander has basically just been like completely manufactured or like way overblown. I've seen Reddit like take a couple things and just completely misrepresent it. There's been maybe 1 or 2 instances that I've seen where like, oh, okay, well, like, it sounds like some of this stuff that was written in like 2009, 2011 didn't really age super well. Well, yeah, it's the same way if you go over to Newgrounds right now and you're looking up some stuff from creators that now are working with like Adult Swim and everything. So like, yeah, some sensibilities have definitely changed. But one of the things I wanted to look at here with Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is specifically with this, in regards to all the like the social issues, aspects, and everything that went on back then. Look, that's kind of whatever. I can't really do much change about that. What I'm interested in seeing as far as the quality of the game is like what's going on with the character creation, what's going on with the play. And right now I'm kind of formulating my ideas around what's happening with specifically the character creation. I always think like one of the best ways to really learn a system is, number one, once you learn like what the resolution mechanic is, seeing what happens with the dice and everything, the next best thing to do is to make some characters. At least one, right? And with the character creation for Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play. So, okay. I like a lot of what this wants to be. I like so much about the depth of the character creation. It is extremely unique in the way that you get your is it your class, your career over in Zweihander, it's your profession, right? I like a lot about what that wants to be. I am trying to formulate my take on combat in this system, because I like a lot of what the character options want to be. I can't help but think that the combat system in this looks utterly baffling and needlessly complex. There's an amount of granularity in here that I like that they're going for with the character expression. I think if you are very much into the micromanaging aspects of your character and you like to see incremental improvements all throughout the game, you can get that out of Warhammer. What I'm not a huge fan of is that granularity. Like, okay, if you're going to do this, figure out a way to do it in a way that maybe doesn't feel like it requires its own calculator to do. And you'll see as we go through and make a character why I feel that is. Like, looking at the character sheet real quick. Number one, don't let this super terrify you right now. You're seeing a bunch of numbers right here. I promise you, this will make sense. Insofar as what's going on with the character sheet, there's really a couple of key numbers to pay attention to. It's essentially just over here with the skills right in here. Right in here. There's this right over here. And then there's some damage numbers and stuff towards the end. Most of the other stuff that's over on the page is letting you know, like, in particular, like wounds. This is letting you know how much damage you can take. Armor points. It does have an armor system that is, like, specifically covering, you know, head, left arm, right arm, body, right leg, left leg, shield. If you want, like I said, if you want to get very much into the micromanaging aspects of what your equipment is going to do for you, then, like, I think that this could be a good call. Like, this might be the system for you if you really, really want to go for that. For me personally, I think this is a level of crunch that doesn't really add a whole lot to my personal experience, right? Now that I've taken some time to get to know the system, and I'm still kind of working on that study, I think I've kind of pinned down what it is, where I think, like, the level of crunch for me goes from, like, I think even a 5e for me is a bit too much crunch. Pathfinder is, like, I'm not the kind of guy that really gets into Pathfinder crunch. I feel like Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay is actually a little bit above Pathfinder in terms of crunch. But let's talk about this whenever we make a character. We may make one or two to kind of get down, you know, with the system, see what's going on. Oh, right? So, I have a couple things here. So, as a part of me doing this Zweihander book, the Zweihander videos, sorry. So I did get this one, right? You'd say it's less crunchy than D&D. I think in terms of the character expression and what's happening in combat, I actually think that this is crunchier than D&D. Just me. Yeah, that's, yeah. Does that have its own critical tables? Yes, it does have critical tables. Yeah. In looking at this, right? I think that what Warhammer has over Zweihander at the moment is the fact that here's the Warhammer book, okay? Here's the Zweihander book, all right? So when you look at the two stacked up, right? I've heard some people call the Zweihander book a fuck-off book, as in it's just got too much to it. As I kind of agree with that standpoint, in that the Zweihander book has a ton of content, and the Zweihander book also tends to kind of wax on about a bunch of stuff. It just tends to, whenever it's talking about a point, it has like 4 paragraphs whenever it could just conclude that same idea into one, right? And it's fucked. I think that a lot of the content that's in some of these books could essentially be conveyed with 1 paragraph. So we're talking less about a deep mechanical issue and more about a lot of conveyance issues that are going on, which is why I really praise the fact that in the Zweihander starter guide, there you go. Wow. This is how many pages? 98. 98 pages. That Zweihander author is a pretty iffy person, in your opinion. I have talked with... Okay. Daniel Fox is one of the people who was helping with getting the trove pulled. And, like, that's not a crime. I keep hearing people constantly bring this stuff up, and I'm like, guys, what has he done? Is he a criminal? No. Like, a lot of the issues that people are talking about with, like, this guy, I've talked with Daniel. He's an absolute sweetheart. There's a lot of people who, like, were kind of upset that the trove got shut down, and it's turned into and it's not just the trove. We've really got to talk about, like... It kind of bothers me how overblown a lot of the quote-unquote controversies of the scene go, insofar as, like, personal attacks on someone's character. I have basically seen nothing but positive stuff from this guy. And it really kind of pains me to see there's this many people that, like, echo the exact same sentiments and misinformation I maybe see over on Reddit or Twitter. And it went so far as to seeing, like, last year, seeing, like, pictures of his kid get posted up online. In basically threatening, somewhat pseudo-threatening harassment documents, you know? I'm like, or harassment threads. And I don't get it. I don't understand what it is. It's like, yeah, the guy had a right to... If he's in charge of a company, if he's in charge of a product and his product is getting pirated, what? Yeah, then he could legally he can enforce the protections he has on his product. I don't really get whenever people are saying, like, iffy. Okay, what? What? Like, because if it's nothing... If it can't be expressed as anything other than, like, well, he marketed his stuff. Fucking, let's chill. Like, I really think we gotta stop. Yeah, it's awful. That shouldn't be happening. But knowing people that have worked directly for him, the way he treats them, don't go away after that. What? Who? Like, that's the thing. Who? What? What? There's plenty of industry people that have worked with Daniel, that have worked on the Zweihander stuff, that something would have come out that I definitely would have heard of by now. What? Like, that's what I want to hear. Yes, see, you're repeating stuff I heard about him. I'm no reliable voice here. Can we stop echoing stuff that we don't know the information on? Well, that guy's kind of iffy, right? Well, like, okay, what? What happened? Oh, well, I don't really know. We gotta stop with this. We've really gotta stop with this. I am really sad with the state of this scene because of stuff like this that happens. Oh, there's this guy that, you know, what? you know, we've seen instances of real bad behavior that happens in the TTRPG scene of essentially what I would say is at times criminal or whatever. Nothing about this guy I've ever seen comes off as like reprehensible behavior whatsoever. And it sounds like a lot of people that are pissed off about him helping to get the Trove shut down have been essentially like slandering the dude. So like, how about we do this? Let's be a little bit more critical here. Reddit is not exactly the best place to be getting your information, especially on someone's character. All right. Reddit is known for just being a place where people like to go and vent their frustration at shit. Okay. So, especially if we're going into other communities and we're talking about somebody in a way that like kind of discusses like their character or their behavior or whatever, can we please make sure we actually know? Yeah, Reddit's not gossip. Yeah. Can we please make sure that before we say something that is like really damaging on someone's character, we actually know why? God, it is, please. The TTRPG scene has a horrible problem of overblowing all these situations, of overblowing tiny disagreements, tiny conflicts into becoming huge dramas. And it's just not. That's just not the case here. So like, yeah, thank you. Right? This is a guy that has a family, that has a job, and it sounds like, at least from everything I know, the guy was trying to protect his business. So I can't blame him. I was having my shit pirated over there too. Just disliking because Reddit does is a bit scuffed, but yeah, there's no reason to drag it out there. Yeah. And that was the thing. It's like I posted the picture I did earlier, and I have deleted some comments that were on there that were like, oh, well, not a fan of Daniel Fox. And I'm like, I could get into it with you, but why? Like, why say that? Oh, well, because, you know, he got the Trove shut down. Oh. It was a pirating site, you know? I agree. We should probably have an archive where some of these, like, quote-unquote dead games get archived. I 100% agree with that. Oh, yeah. As someone that's kind of doing a bit of the historian side of my channel, I would love to have a resource like that. 100%. Absolutely. But the Trove stuff, yeah, the whole situation is not just him. He's been the scapegoat. He was not solely responsible for that. Thank you. I know for 100% fact that investigations were going on into the Trove aside from Daniel Fox's stuff. 100%. I was one of the people that helped to turn you. Okay, you want to come at me? I was one of the people that helped to turn in some information that helped law enforcement track down who was responsible for the Trove. So get mad at me too, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, that website, I agree. We need an archive, okay? We don't need that archive to be from a site that wants to steal from small third-party creators. All of Mage Hand Press's stuff was hosted up there. Hit Point Press's stuff was hosted up there. My stuff was hosted up there. You know, a bunch of complete indie guys. Look at Kibbles, who gives his stuff out for free. Their stuff was hosted up over there. So, like, I agree. We should probably have a digital archive for some of this stuff. We should, and I give away a lot of my stuff for free. I give out full previews of a lot of my stuff. But I still have to protect what I'm working with, right? Yeah. That it was beating most websites in SEO. Yep. Bingo bango. You couldn't compete with the Trove. See you later, later, Huntsman. Yeah, so like, look. There's been a lot that I've seen from people who are bad actors in the scene, who have basically been outed as serial harassers here lately, that have gone after Daniel Fox in the past and slandered him. No one talked about how, like, Nora Rose, who was one of the people who did this, just got outed as a major plagiarist, like, in the last month. And then one of the other people, Nora's, like, roommate, also got out as a sex pest in the scene. So like we have bad actors that are also spreading this kind of misinformation out there. Yeah. I did. Thank you, Fred. You draw on free stuff is definitely a tough call. If he gives away stuff for free, he doesn't archive like that to rehost it. Okay. No, because they don't own it, right? They don't. You can't just claim and distribute that stuff, right? You still have a right to control how the stuff is distributed. So like if a group is just coming along and they're like, okay, well we're gonna take that and host it up over here. It's like, you gotta hang on. Like, creators deserve to have some control over the way that their stuff is distributed. And if people don't believe that, I don't know what to tell you other than like that, like the rest of the world seems to disagree other than the pirates. So like, yeah, we deserve the right to control the way that our stuff is distributed. And like, if a website came along and ripped some of your stuff and was trying to present it as either their own or was not giving any clear credit over to you, I would say that that's a problem. Yeah. Yeah, we credit. Yeah. So, okay. My stance on essentially that whole situation is that Reddit has overblown it. Reddit has turned that into a real stupid witch hunt, especially with a lot of guys that are in the Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play scene that like, yeah, Daniel was promoting one of his things back like 10 plus years ago. In fact, whenever like he was trying to get Zweihander a bit more out there, and I'll go over a bit more into why I think Zweihander is actually in a lot of ways more accessible than Warhammer, whenever I get to that video, and why I actually kind of prefer it, and not just because like I have the video or I have the book and like I've spoken with Daniel or like they've talked and reached out. I think that there's a lot of reduction and cleaning up to the system here, and I've been trying to get into making Warhammer characters because, number one, it's really fucking hard to get a game. It's really hard to get a game of this going on. I tried to even hire people through Start Playing, and no one's running it, right? Zweihander has the same problem. There's a couple, but they're not happening until after I need to get this video out. So one of the ways in which I go about learning a different system is by trying to make a character and seeing how the resolution mechanic is going to work with that. Once you got that and you see how the resolution works, essentially the only thing you're missing out on is the actual play experience, which, let's be real here, most TTRPGs play essentially the same. You're making up a story as you go along, and then there's a dice mechanic that helps with the resolution and everything, right? So, if there's some abandonware game from 20 plus years ago, but if there's literally easier to find a sure that it's to get it from official sources, then there's a problem. Yes, on the 5e thing, I absolutely agree there. Absolutely agree there. But in terms of the Pathfinder thing, they do make it fairly easy for you to get a hold of the PDFs. In fact, they give a lot of them out for free. For the 5e thing, it's not just because like I'm not a huge fan of WotC or whatever. It's because they don't make the PDFs accessible, and because D&D Beyond is an always online service, and I'm against that. So like, yeah, I can understand that's a company literally not making the PDF available to you, right? But like, if the PDF is available and you're just swiping it because like you want to swipe, I think eventually you'll wind up probably buying it. But I still think that the creator should probably... No, I still think the creator should definitely have a right to decide how their PDF is distributed. Any kind of an online archive like that should absolutely be an opt-in style situation. And a lot of these guys are working on quick starts to make it to where you can get into playing their game almost immediately. So, yeah. I think people have a hard time differentiating between pirating old Nintendo games, which Nintendo no longer puts into circulation, versus indie creators protecting how people interact with their content. Yes, and I will build on with that. There are dead RPGs that aren't getting printed right now that I have a very hard time finding online that it would be nice to have an archive like that for. Yeah, Warhammer 2nd Edition, I cannot get, I cannot actually find a... I was looking around for a PDF. I don't remember if I found one earlier, but the books themselves are no longer in circulation. So like they're like $200 for you to get a book for the print book for 2nd edition. So yeah. Maybe a hot take: the Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play game is bloated as fuck, and combat is slower than D&D at times. Yes, combat does feel brutal, and you kind of like that, but everything else kind of sucks. I agree, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But first off, let's talk in making a character. So, for those of you who don't know, this is a D100 roll-under system. There we go. A couple of strengths that I really like about what's going on in here. And none of this is really spoilers for the video that I've got coming up. So if you're going to feel spoiled on one of my reviews. Okay. So a couple things that I really, really like. I think that the skill system covers a lot of territory. The problem with that is it almost feels like vast as vast as an ocean, shallow as a puddle, where it's like there's a lot going on in here, but like you know, you just like take guns every it's gotta, they've got to be opt-in only. It has to be. Library for you. No, it's all good. It's all good. Don't send me a bunch of pictures of the 2nd edition book. I would rather just get the book. Now, a couple things with making characters in this system. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to clear this out. I had to kind of make my own... I kind of had to make my own character sheet, kind of cobbling together what I had seen online that looked official, and then what I had seen some people try to do with their character sheet. The one that's on, what is it, Cubicle 7's website, it didn't seem form fillable. I found a couple that were from like fan-made ones, but yeah, so be aware. If you really want form fillable, automatically calculating ones, you might be left a little bit wanting here. Now, okay. So going up from the top and starting down. All right, so this is a D100 roll under system. I do have the PDF right here, and we'll talk a little bit about what that means exactly. Couple reasons why I think you would really want to play a game like this. So this is going to be a grimdark fantasy game. Grimdark fantasy akin to like Black Company by Glenn Cook, any of the like Christopher Bowman novels. I think that Zweihander probably leans in a little bit more on the Bowman influence there. That feels a lot more Renaissancean, whereas this one feels a bit more grimdark medieval, akin to like maybe a Game of Thrones, right? Bowman's like Between Two Fires feels a bit more Renaissance, because I mean, you're talking about like Black Plague and everything like that. You could say like some Joe Abercrombie, you know, the blade itself, a little bit of hatred or whatever. Another one. Give me another one. I said Game of Thronesian. I feel like. I wouldn't go so far as to say this is going to give you like the sort of like Elric, Melonbone style games, because it's like lower magic, lower. I say grittier, but grittier has become a little bit of a buzzword, right? They needlessly added granularity into the XP system in 4th edition. Very strange to me, and gaining it is even stranger. I somewhat like the XP system, and we'll talk about that, because it's spent as currency in here, rather than a certain amount that you need to hit to rank up in 5e. Like I said, there's a lot about this system that I think is really cute and clever. And I think that there is a happy marriage in here somewhere between what they're doing with experience and like something like the 5e ranking system. The starter kit is really good. I need to actually pick it up. Now, kind of scrolling down. All right, so here we are. Your character. A couple things that you need for this. You need a species. You need a class and career. Career is going to feel like a subclass. This class and career is a really interesting aspect of the system. Attributes, we're going to roll for that. Skills and talents, we're also going to talk about that. That's you're getting skills from your species and your class and your talents as well. Trappings is like equipment. Adding detail is all fluff. Party is a bit of fluff, but it's a way that you're also going to gain XP according to the system. Bringing your character to life is a more additional role play kind of fluff in there. Advancement, this is also how you're going to gain more XP to level up and get more skills, talents, etc. So one of the really, really cool things that's going on with this, I'll give you a preview of the class and career. Let's go to like the outlaw. Sure. Okay, so you'll notice a couple things in here. Number one, the rogues. So this is going to feel like a subclass here. In Zweihander. Well, it's in Zweihander too. Here we go. In Warhammer. Let me try and find this page real quick. In Warhammer, there are how many different classes? There are, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 8 different classes for the academics, the burghers, the courtiers, the peasants, the rangers, the riverfolk, the rogues, and the warriors. Okay? So you have this layout right here of different classes, and then based on the class that you roll, you will be also put into a specific career path. So like for the rogue, the first one that I rolled up was actually a rogue outlaw. So over here, this is the entire class package. This is everything you need to know about playing this class and career, right? One page. Really, really like that. And all the XP that you're going to get is going to be in continuing to build off of what's here on this page. I think that that's super graceful. I like the idea that the entire class loadout is like right here. A little bit of it is earlier on in the trappings that you're going to get. What book is this? This is the Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play for 4th edition. Now, this is a really unique class system. I like a lot of what's happening here, and there's a lot of crunch to be had with it. Let's go back up to the top, and we're going to start with making a character. So species, we're going to need a species. So let's just roll. Those are my lights. We're going to go over to dice. Dice, wherever you want to be. There we go. Okay, 20. So we rolled up human. That is going to be 90% of characters in Warhammer. All right. Okay. Now, because of that, here's a cool thing, right? Because we rolled that up and we went with the first thing that we got, we also get 20 experience. This game tries to reward you for embracing chaos of like what your characters like, whatever the dice are going to give you, right? Hey, what up, Trek? It tries to encourage you to take what the dice are going to give you rather than get hyper specific into the crunch. It still allows you to do that. But if you embrace the kind of random aspect of coming up with a character instead, it gives you experience to sort of get a slightly stronger start, right? So you get a tiny bit of compensation. I think that that's really fun. I like the idea there. Now, kind of moving off from there, your class and career. We will go back and reference our species here in a second, but with your class and career, roll D100 on the random class and career table. Let's do that now. So 49, and we are a human. So we are going to be a villager. So peasant. Okay. Now with your... Yep. From there are attributes. So determine each of your attributes by referring to the attributes table. Okay. Now, social status matters a lot too, especially with the new rules. Yeah, this does give you a bit more incentive for roleplay than what you would see in like a D&D or Pathfinder. This is actually actively telling you that in order to maintain some of your bonuses, like the money that you're going to have, some of the other effects from your social status, you need to keep paying to maintain that rank, right? I think that this is interesting. I kind of wonder if it gets to a bit more crunch of a roleplay system than what I would personally like, but yeah. This is a D100 roll under system. Yes. I didn't know if that was a joke about me saying that too much or not, but yeah, so D100 roll under system, right? So the objective is going to be, once we get these attributes here, I'll show you what that means, okay? So 2d10 plus 20, so that's going to be the straight up full loadout for human. So let's do that right now. 8 plus 6 is 14, so 14 plus 20 is 34. All right, let's do that again. That's 5 plus 2, so 7. 20 plus 7 is going to be 27. Our strength. 1 plus 6, so 27. 9 plus 10, 19. So 19 plus 20 is going to be 39. What is T? Couldn't remember what the T skill was for. Woo! 17. 20 plus, so 37. Our agility. I cannot tell if that's an 8. And I kind of wish it is. I think that's an 8. So an 8 and a 0 is going to be 38. I'm going to call that an 8, okay? I'm going to call that an 80, all right? We're going to go with that, all right? Yeah, toughness, the most important stat. 2. Why? 7 and 1, so 8. Intelligence. 3 and a 10, so that is going to be a 13, so 33. This is all just the roll plus 20 right here for human. 7 plus 7, 14, so 34 for the next one. And 16, so 36. That's actually really ridiculous rolls compared to what I was rolling earlier. So we're going to take that. Okay. And then the next step is going to be, oh yeah, because we took all the random rolls, we're just going to take that and roll with it. What that means is we write them down on a character sheet. We take it and we're going to get another 50 experience points again, because it's like embrace the chaos. So yes, we're taking that. Now, going back over here. We also need to know how many wounds, what our fate, our resilience, these extra points right here. Actually, as I was going through here, extra points. For someone that's actually played this, can you tell me where this goes? Because it just says extra points. 5. Character sheet, fate, resilience. Does anybody know? Do it randomly, get rewarded, or pick. Yeah. I think that's actually a lot of fun. Has anybody? Anybody? Bueller? This has been a little to get allocated to your rolled stats. Can you tell me where it says that in the book? Because I went through earlier, and as I was making the 2 other characters, this was a thing that kind of confused me. Where do these extra points go? It says extra points right here on the attributes table. So I know as a human, I'm going to get 2 fate, 1 resilience, and 4 movement. But I don't know where these extra points go. This resolve needs to be 1, because that's going to be equal to resilience. Fortune is equal to what you have up here for fate. Yeah, that's the thing. I can't really figure out what those mean. Because it says extra points right there. Extra points can be allocated to either fate or resilience as you choose, page 34. So fate, you can either do fate or resilience? Oh, there we go. There we go. Jeez. All right. You start with a base value. Okay. It's literally, I just would have had to pay attention as I was reading this. Spread between these 2 attributes as you see fit. The other 2 characters I made were actually weaker because we didn't do this. These 2 are shown in the attributes table. Okay, so we have 3 that we can split between those 2. Pick up. So, let's just put this +2 right here, so 3, and then put 1 more in the fate, sure. This should be here, this should be here. Right, sweet. Now, you're spent on fate points. Gotcha. Okay, so the other thing that this one has going for it is the wounds system. Okay. So, from the way that this looks to me, wounds are essentially, you can take this much damage or this many, like, quote unquote, like, instances of damage or something like that. Unlike all your slutty. So, like, this is an amount of damage which you can continue taking until you start incurring, like, actual, like, injuries and stuff. So your wounds show how much damage you can endure based on your physical power and your force of will to shrug off injury. See Chapter 5 rules for how wounds are used to track damage. Unlike other attributes, wounds are derived from your strength bonus, twice your toughness bonus, and willpower bonus, abbreviated to SB, TB, and WPB on the attributes table. Is there really 2 commas there? Wait, is that in the print book? Did we catch an error? How long has this book been out? Wait, what page is that? 34? Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that's in the print book. Oh, there you go. Refer to the attributes table. Okay, calculate your wounds. Halflings have the small talent to start with. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of like hit points, but the calculation in here, I'm like, okay, so it's strength bonus plus your toughness bonus and willpower bonus, abbreviated to SB, TB, and WPB on the attributes table. So what are these numbers right here? Toughness bonus, willpower bonus, strength bonus. So this is a thing that they don't really make super clear on the character sheet. So this bonus, what this means, yeah, there's a ton of errors and typos. I don't like that this isn't apparent on the character sheet. What this means is it's the first value, it's this tens value right here for each of these different characteristics. So like 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, and 3, right? Yeah, first digit in the stat, right? So what this is used for in other areas is kind of as like a limiter for how many times you can do a thing. I like this idea. I really like how graceful that is, but I can't help but think that something that is going to be that important should be somewhere very blatant on the character sheet. This will come up more often than just a one-off kind of thing. Confused yet? Yeah, we're just getting started. Yes. I like this idea. I like how simple this is. Zweihander does this better with their character sheet. This is listed very plainly because they knew that this is going to come up quite a bit. Now, so the wounds in here, SB 2, right? TB times 2, so we had 3 up in toughness. So that means that we're going to have a 6 down here. Willpower bonus, bam, right? Okay. So I hope we're good. I hope we're sticking with that, right? Now, going back up into here. So we've put these numbers in. We got our resilience. We got our fate. We got our movement. What we need to do now is go in and get our skills and get our talents. This is going to be a mix of things from our class as well as our species. It's a holdover for the tabletop army game. Oh, okay. So, let me see here. So skills and talents. Summary, you're going to choose your skills and talents from those offered by your species and career. Now, scrolling down, we're going to get with the humans. Okay, here's a hang up for me. I really, really like that the Warhammer book lays it out in the order of which you're making your character. You can follow along, and that's pretty nice, right? You just kind of flip through this. This is the order in which you're going to build your character. That's fine. The layout on this meant that the first time that I was kind of scrolling through here, this wasn't really sticking out. And whenever I heard that like my species was going to give me skills and talents, and I was like, oh, I didn't see that, right? I scrolled all the way back up to try and find it up in here. Oh, okay, well, there's humans. Oh, I don't see where I got my skills. Dwarves. I don't see where dwarves get their skills or talents. What? Halflings. I don't see what... Wait, what? What's happening? Well, it's because they tucked it away in this corner over here. I like that it's clear, like there's a step-by-step of going through the progress of doing that, right? And this is always a confusing thing to try and figure out whenever you're designing a game. But this doesn't really have anything that makes it stick out, right? So, but in your species, skills, and talents, you're going to choose 3 skills to gain 5 advances each. Okay, so an advance. What is an advance? That's an advance. It's an increase of 1. It's unconventional. I get the intent, but yeah, it's confusing. Yeah, exactly. It kind of tucks it away, right? You can scroll right past it and not even think about it. So, advances. We're going to choose 3 of these skills to gain 5 advances each. So we have animal care, charm, cool, evaluate. I'm sure that actually is a little bit hard to read. Evaluate, gossip, haggle, language, Bretonian, language, wastelander, leadership, lore, Reichland, melee basic, or ranged bow. Okay, so we're a villager, right? I guess with that, we'll animal care. Sure, we'll put 5 into that. Animal care. Charm animal. Oh, that's right, because animal care and charm animal are 2 different things. Apparently. You know what? Because it's that, and it's a separate deal, I don't even want to bother with it. I'm just going to pick these over here. Charm. Sure. Let's put 5 over there. This is essentially what it breaks down to, is like, I could put it over here, look it up, find the characteristic, make the advancement, do all that stuff. I could do that grind if I want to. I don't want to, though. I'm like, there's so much granularity happening with the skills that these all actually feel fairly niche. And I'm not a big fan of that. So I'm going to go over here and put 5 in the charm. Just because it's there on the sheet. And that's what I'm going to think of. Cool. Evaluate, gossip, haggle. Let's go gossip. Sure. Let's not do haggle because I don't want the DM to just spend 20 minutes with a time waste to save me 4 gold. And then let's just go cool. It said cool in there. Yeah, I'm not going to think too hard about it. And then we have to choose 3 other skills to gain 3 advances each. So we have animal care, charm, cool, evaluate. Let's go evaluate. Maybe evaluate in leadership. Let's find... Oh, no, because evaluate... They're gonna make me do this, huh? Evaluate does use intelligence, so that's fine that that's there. Having any way to do damage from range is incredibly powerful. Finding a bow is a godsend. I did see that it did a little bit of the basic fantasy roleplay, like this ranged missile misses, so it's gonna go into this random area over here, and I was like, what? No, let's not do that. Let pull it back. No, where was this? Was it like ranged on a miss, ballistic on a miss, or something like that? Rules, religion and belief, magic. Come on, just get me skills and talents, rangers. Is it this far back? The game master. Oops, sorry if I keep bashing your eardrums in with that. Rangers, skills and talents. Rules. S. Combat, there we go. Okay, so this is, there's a couple parts to this that I'm not a big fan of. And we'll talk a little bit about this once we really get into that. Determining hit location, you determine where the thing was hit whenever you attack. What? I'm really not a big fan of this right here. This is an amount of granularity that I just don't really care about. I hit the thing, that's all that really matters in my mind. If you want that level of granularity, I guess here it is. Ranged combat, combat difficulty. What was it? Size. It's like how easy it is to like hit some scatter. Okay, yes, this slows down combat. I'm really not a big fan of this right here. On a failed range throwing test, roll 1d10 and consults. Oh no, the following diagram to see where your weapon lands. T marks the target, right? On a roll of 1 to 8 provides a roll of 1 to 8 provides a direction. Roll 2d10 to determine the distance the weapon scatters in yards. It scatters no more than half the distance between you and the target. A roll of 9 and the weapon lands at your feet. A 10 and it lands at your target's feet. Scatter can be used whenever a random direction is required. No, ignore this. Don't do this. This is needlessly complex. Anytime I've seen a system that did this, I even criticized basic fantasy role-playing for doing this. This is going to bog down combat. No one cares after something's been thrown like that where the thing landed. This is trying to cover your ass for so many different situations that doesn't need to be covered for. Some people, again, may feel like they need this hyper reality of simulationist combat quite like this. To me, this slows everything down to get what is essentially a zero tension result. Who cares about where that thing went? It was a weapon or whatever, go pick it up later. Or like you can go run over and pick it up. Who cares? This does not need narration. Combat is so deadly, no one wants to fight anyways. This is a really bad mechanic. Don't include anything quite like this into your games. Yeah, the rest of the scene has moved away from doing anything quite like that, right? I also think that on top of that and doing the hit locations, these are the two things that make me think that combat in this, aside from it being individual initiative as well, I feel like I would have the worst time. I already felt like D&D combat, you kind of have to hand wave it now to make sure that you get enough play in a session, right? You kind of have to hand wave individual initiative in order to really make D&D, in my opinion, feel pretty enjoyable to play. This is another reason for me why I'm not a huge fan of like Pathfinder, because it's harder to do the action point system and keep track of it in group initiative with Pathfinder, so it's harder to hand wave. I also forgot to mention this is an action point system, so it's going to have a similar feel to Pathfinder in that direction, right? It is again, a level of granularity that you're a big hit location fan. Why, Crow? Why? What does it serve? Just let them say like, yeah, I hit him in the arm. All right, cool. You hit him in the arm. Going into like, well, now it takes this kind of injury, and you get really, really deep into the crunch of a thing that I just don't think really needs all that much crunch. Feels, I don't get it. It's definitely not for me. Yeah. Now, going back up here. So we had 5, 5, 3. We have another 3 that we're going to spend. Let's scroll back up. Where was this? Craftings. Okay, 3. We could get leadership lore. Let's just get basic and. Oh, hang on a sec. All right, my dad was calling to see if we were going to do dinner tonight. Hey, what up, Josh? On with the new cam? No, so this is a Sony cam that I've had for a while. It's a really nice camera, and I've finally gotten it set up and configured to where it'll work with streaming and everything. Yeah. Blame it on Dead Space. Because you like hitting glowy orange spots. So... Oh yeah, I'm also going to be getting, I have a honeycomb grid that's coming in to like direct the light right at me. I thought about doing a bit in the next video because I got so many people giving me shit about the light in the last one. It was an ISO fuck up with this camera right here, alright? But, coming in Chris, yeah. Right? Woo! Man. I look so pale in this. I look so frumpy. Hang on. I need to not look this heinously white. Oh, look at that. You look at that. I do look like I get some sun. Right? Better, right? It looks warmer, nicer. Yeah, I guess. All right, we'll leave it there. Confuse the hell out of people that skip around the video, all right? Oh yeah, I also have the diffuser on the light right now. So it's actually hitting me, and the focus is hitting me, rather than bouncing all over my fucking background. Oh yeah, and I need to do this. The lights can even get better. I forgot about that. Oh! I forgot about those. Okay, sweet. Let's do that. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go back over into here. So we have, oh yeah, we needed to put 3 in basic, and then, yeah, I guess we're gonna have to do this, huh? Ranged with a bow. So this is another problem I kind of have with this right here. The way that this is currently laid out, I'm gonna have to go look over into skills to see what skill is associated with that, because of the way that their character sheet is laid out. I'm gonna have to go ranged, bow, and then I'm gonna have to go find out what that's associated with. Either it's gonna be dexterity, or maybe agility, or maybe willpower, or I don't know what, right? So I don't really like how that's laid out, but let's go look and see where that one is going to go. Range with a bow. Skills. Advanced skills. This is probably, I'm going to guess dexterity. Play ranged is going to be BS. Oh, ballistic skill. Ah, see? All right. So WS is weapon skill. BS is ballistic skill. So we go over here. We go, come on. Thank you. Go down. Nope, that's too far. Why did they just play the same song? Come on. Here we go. Let's go for that. And let's give me a 3. 30. Sweet. Okay, so we have a slight like warrior peasant going on right now. Your system you're working on has an effective part damage, has simple penalty to anything that seems like it would be affected, or the thing seems reasonable. The PDF is kind of ass as well. Yeah. Anything that seems like it would be affected, the thing seems reasonable. Trying to understand what that might mean. Now, so we have those bonuses, right? Let's go back up. I'm doing all this now because I really want to talk about the class system, because I think the class system is the big strength in this, and I'm trying to get the sort of meh stuff out of the way right now. We can go doomed, wow, savvy, or slob, or we can roll 3 random talents right over here, right? If you roll a talent, it doesn't actually give you the experience over here, because you're getting quite a lot of different options in this, right? You can only take 1, but it's telling you 3 random talents. So like, why not go on ahead and roll for this over here, right? So we're going to say 0, so we have 60. So we got Pure Soul. Talent name, Pure Soul. We only took it once. That's kind of like leveling up in that talent. 7, so Animal Affinity. I have gotten this on every character I've rolled up so far. No idea why everyone I keep rolling up is a furry. You think that's a sign? 31. Lightning reflexes. Okay, so we got those. All right, that's everything that we get from our species, right? You get doomed and you choose between the other 2. Wait, so you get all 5? So we get doomed, savvy, or wait, we get all 3 of these? So I have been rolling this up wrong. Wait, it says if a talent listing presents a choice, you select one choice from the talents given. So you do get all 3 of these? Because I thought it's saying that if it presents a choice, that this was a choice. But that this was a choice. But I guess it's not a choice, right? Because humans suck. So we get doomed, savvy or suave, and 3 random talents. Well, let's just say suave. Sure. Okay, so I guess that's just me not being able to really interpret what that might necessarily mean. There's another double comma. What happened there? look at the dwarf and elf choices. Dwarves, magic resistance, night visions, resolute or strong-minded, sturdy. Elves, acute sense, cool-headed or savvy, night vision, second sense, or... Oh, so they get, like, a lot of real nice shit. And humans kind of get a bit of a doofy, like... Hey! Ace UK22, welcome, welcome. So, looking at those talents real quick. You know what? Let's go into the classes, and then we'll look at the talents, alright? So, the stuff that we're going to get from our career skills, our talents, go to your career and classes and careers. You begin at the first career level in your indicated career path. There are 8 skills and 4 talents listed with that level, and you can choose which of these you are most proficient at. Allocate 40 advances into your to your 8 starting skills, with no more than 10 advances allocated to any skill at this stage. Okay. So we're going to go over to the villager. I like this. I like what this wants to be. If you don't mind big points, if you don't mind having to do some micromanaging to build your character, there is a lot of character expression in this. A lot. But peasant, brass 2. So this is what we're looking at right here. So we're a villager on the career path of peasant, brass 2. So we're going to scroll back up here. Peasant. We also put this in here. Status is 2. Brass 2, right? Or was it? Right? Was I remembering that right? So, is the brass and silver, to anybody that can let me know, is that status or is that career level? Or is that... It's not career path, right? The brass, silver, gold? Or is that just your status? Brass 2. Both? Seriously? I wonder why they would have done that like this. Yeah, it's what you earn on breaks too. Yeah. Because I didn't know how to format that on the character sheet. I wasn't sure where it wanted me to put all that stuff down. Your path is a place to write all your careers. Gotcha. Okay. So we say like peasant right there. The only one that can read and write. Okay. So now we have 40 points that we can allocate into everything on here. And we can also choose a talent, if I'm remembering this right. And we don't get any trappings here. So what we're getting is, starting out from the top, we can choose between animal care, athletics, consume alcohol, endurance, gossip, melee brawling, lore local, and outdoor survival. Let's go with, I guess, consume alcohol. And let's just put that at a 10. Right? So now we have 30 left over. So I guess we had, what was it? Animal care? Animal care, charm animal. Why not combine these into one skill? That seems so oddly hyper-specific. Athletics? Sure. We're going ahead and take it. We're a very strong peasant. Gossip. And we also talk a lot of shit. Alright, 51 on our gossip skill. We have 10 more. Outdoor survival? Sure. We're used to sleeping out on the street. Let's do that. Alright. Now, we've allocated that. Talents. Let's just pick up Rover. Or Stone Soup? Yes. I don't know what it does. We're just going to take it because the name sounds ridiculous. Okay. Craftings, none. Okay. I forget we also have to roll for how much coin we currently have. So because we're brass and we're brass 2, we roll like D10 and we get that many copper points or something like brass. So 2D10 per standing. So 2D10. So it's actually 4D10. Me change a career in the future, possibly civil terms. It looks like, for example, ex-peasant, ex-villager, acolyte. Gotcha. 1, 9, so 10. Another 10. 20. 40. No. Yeah. 33. Oh, wait. Wrong one. It should probably say brass right here. Whatever. Okay, so 33. So we don't have a whole lot of starting equipment with us. Our trappings. If we go back up here. Changing into a new career. Talent advances. Completing a career. Advancing through your career. Where was the spot where it said starting trappings? See, this is also kind of an oddity right here. Your starting trappings are actually up here in this section, not listed with the class and stuff later, which I'm not a huge fan of. It is in line, though, with the character creation methods. So cloak, clothing, dagger. Let's go one at a time. Cloak, clothing, dagger. And then there's like a pouch holding a bunch of weird sling bag containing rations 1 day. What was the other thing? Pouch. Okay. You get trappings for your class, not career. I thought you did get for the career. Wait, what? I thought your career did give you trappings. Yeah, the currency and exchange rates are very unintuitive in this. I don't know why they went with that. It looked like 20 times. Whereas, like, everybody nowadays, like, if you look at a lot of OSR stuff, is getting away from the gold standard and moving over towards silver standard. If you look at, like, Merkborg, right? I think Knave also did, and maybe Cairn, I want to say. Most everybody's getting away from that system. And for this to be like, it takes 20 of these things to make one of these things. And then these, what? No, get out of here. No, hush. All right, so the trappings, we're not going to worry about encumbrance on this. We're trying to just make the character, right? Okay, now going on from there, trappings. I feel like there was another spot. Party advancement. We rolled randomly for our species, our class, and I feel like there was another spot where we rolled randomly and should have been given another 50 for our attributes. So there was 20 from our species, right? So it would have been 70. Woo! And then another 50 from our attributes. So 120 that we have current on that experience. Now, from there, we got the skills and talents. Did I fill in the movement? We did. The trappings, we got that. Adding detail. Okay, so we're just going to roll randomly what it says in here. Where was the human names? Human family surnames are passed on from one generation. Most common surnames are derived from your occupation. Okay. So we are James Peasant. Sure. What a name. What a standout. All right. So our age, 15 plus D10. Oh, wait, it's just D10. We are 18 years old. Sure. Our height. So this is really funny to me. So like 4'9" plus 2d10, the max height you can be is 6'2", I guess. It's not like it really matters all that much. Oh, roll one. Okay, if either rolls a 10, roll one more die and add it to the height total. Okay, so we're gonna do this. Please let him be a tall freak. 30. Okay, so 4. 4'9". He's 5'3". No. Shut up. 5'1". I am so sorry, James Peasant. That's kind of funny though. All right. So James Peasant is a 5'1". Let's see. Is he going to be completely unremarkable? All right. Hair color. 2d10. 8, 0, 18. Auburn. Oh, okay. Maybe that's where the spice is kicking in. Auburn. Eyes. $240 pennies. Easy. Yeah, right. 6 plus 6. So 12. Gray eyes. Auburn hair and gray eyes. This is actually okay. We have a little bit of an anime protagonist on our hands. He is an 18-year-old, 5'11" peasant with auburn hair and gray eyes. This is absolutely going to wind up being a main character in an anime. Now, going on from there, ambitions. Ambitions are a character's goals in life, what they want to achieve. All characters have a short-term and a long-term ambition. Using ambitions. So these are going to be long and short, like what can you achieve in the like interim, the first like maybe 5 sessions, right? So what is a short-term goal and what is a long-term thing that you want to do? Short-term goal. What does James Peasant want to do in the short term? In all honesty, what do we got here? Gossip. Gossip. Athletics 10. Consume alcohol 10. Okay, so we just have a wrestling drunk is what we got. It sounds like a shorter rant from Wheel of Time. Jimmy P is a lush. So short term, how about wrestle a bear while drunk? Sure, that is our short term. Yeah, we have a frat boy. So we have a frat boy, right? Long-term goal. I don't know what brotherhood, but like, okay. So yeah, we're gonna play up the fucking frat boy element of Jimmy Peasant here, okay? Now that we have a direction as to what Jimmy Peasant is going, so we have our long-term ambition, and upon achieving these ambitions, we get a bonus of 50 experience points. Okay. Neato. Whenever you achieve them, I believe you also wind up changing the ambitions to something new to try and achieve. But yeah. It gives you bringing your character to life. This is all fluff. Personally, for me, I like a lot more mechanic for me to bite into rather than lots and lots of fluff. I find that if people want to engage with this kind of stuff, they will. I guess it's nice to have it as an option, but yeah, meh. Advancement. Experience points are used for you to improve your character. The GM will give you XP after every session of play, and you may be rewarded for doing particularly well. This could include successfully resolving ongoing adventures, yada, yada, yada. All right, so you're going to get experience. We know what experience points are. Initially, you can only spend your experience, the ones that we currently have, from going with the rando rolls right here, right? We can spend that experience right now to increase 3 characteristics, 8 skills, and 4 talents available to your career level. For details on spending XP, see page 47. Okay, so for our career level, what can we improve? We are a brass peasant. I'm looking for a villager, right? Villager. Yeah, here we go. So currently we can try to improve, I believe it is strength, toughness, and agility are the 3 that we can attempt to improve because of this right here. So with that, I think the route that we want to go is we have 120, right? Each one of these over here is going to cost 25. Improving a skill is going to cost 10, I want to say. Brawling. Oh, that's probably how we're going to wrestle, right? Or probably not. Are we just making a pugilist like peasant here? Melee brawling. What's that use? Is that just weapon or is it strength? Perform melee. Basic grouped. Basic brawling. Cavalry. Okay, so we can do this. Here, let's go over here. Weapon skill. Let's put, we're going to advance that skill by how much? If you can't read and write, then no handouts for you might be a good thing. Hell yeah. Skills, 10 to get it from 0 to 5, so 50 to get it all the way up to a +5. We'll see that. That's going to be way too expensive to start building into that, right? 15. Let's subtract 50 over here. This is 70 right here. Let's do another 15 times 5 is there's 30, 60, 75. Let's do a +4. Get the 60 over in athletics. So now we have athletics is going to be up above 52, right? We're getting closer to wrestling that bear while drunk. Another 10. Let's just improve one of these by 1. Dodge. It's just the one that I saw. Okay, there we go. Motivation. What is his motivation? 10 to 14 is more. Yeah. Frat boy. I guess just ass. Motivation is ass. All right. So let's go and get these talents. I think we got stone soup from our, yeah. Let's grab these talents and pull them over onto our character. There's the skills. We're going to go to talents, gaining talents. Talent format, right? We need, let's start from the top and go down. Animal affinity. Let's grab, that first sentence is just kind of fluff. So we're going to copy paste that over here. All creatures with the bestial trait, not trained to be belligerent, will automatically be calm in your presence unless they have a reason not to be, such as pain, an attack, being naturally hyper-aggressive, or having nearby young. Okay, so like that might help with wrestling the bear? I don't think so, but that's fine. Okay, Doomed. That's the next up in our alphabetical order. Doomed. I have not actually read this one. I just saw it in the lineup and skipped right over it. But now that I know that we have to get it, okay, let's take this. Max of 1, so we can only take it 1 time. Ow. Sorry to anybody, I just woke up with that. At the age of 10, a priest of Moor called a doomsayer took you aside to foretell your death in an incense-laden coming-of-age ritual called the Dooming. In conjunction with your DM, come up with a suitable dooming should your character die in a fashion that matches your dooming. Your next character gains a bonus of half the total experience your dead character accrued during play. And we can't add it into the sheet. We're just gonna say, oh, and that's not even going in the right spot. Page 136. We're just gonna do that. Let's put these. This could have gone in so many other places on a different character sheet. I don't get why they put this here. Animal Affinity, page 133. Sure. That's not even the right spot. Go down here. Paste. Okay, I don't know what that's doing. Lightning reflexes. You gain a permanent +5 bonus to your starting agility characteristic. This does not count towards your advances page. Right, so +5 bonus to starting agility. Hiccup. 43. That's actually quite good. Yeah, our athletics is looking really nice, it turns out. Suave. You get a permanent +5 to your starting fellowship characteristic. It does not count towards your advances. Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play, page 140, right? 146. +5 to fellowship. 41. Okay. Hey, that's gonna work out for gossip. All right. We are a shit-talking little fuck. Your group's doom trait is death by drowning, so he always keeps a bucket of water skin around just in case, and it's funny as hell, if not extremely stupid. We also need Pure Soul. I think this is like a you can dodge or like you can avoid corruption. Yeah, 142. Your soul is pure, quite resistant to the depredations of chaos. You may gain extra corruption points equal to your level of pure soul before having to test to see if you become corrupt. So, like, if I need to make a certain test in order to prevent the corruption stuff in here, corruption is almost like, from what I kind of feel like, at least with looking with Zweihander and coming back, if you start acting against archetype, potentially, you might be getting corruption, which I don't know that I'm a huge fan of that as a roleplay mechanic. I think my verdict's out on that for right now, but I also haven't read it robustly in here. Stone Soup. Okay, so it's a toughness bonus that, of the max. Test endurance test to resist hunger. You're used to getting by with less and know how to survive lean times. You can subsist on half the amount of food required without any negative penalties, bar feeling really hungry, and need only test for starvation every 3 days, not 2. 145. Okay. So, we don't have any like major bonuses that are kicking in there. We did get all of our talents listed right there. We have our ambitions, we have our skills. The only thing that we haven't done so far on this character is come up with the encumbrance numbers on our trappings and potentially spend additional wealth towards any other stuff. We have our encumbrance that we could be adding over here. We also probably need to get our damage numbers for our weapons and stuff. Anybody in chat, remind me if I think, if you think that I'm wrong on anything on this. If I'm forgetting something, please give me a shout out. Rules, the Game Master, relics, we're looking for equipment. . Not religion and belief. The consumer's guide? Equipment. Yeah. Why is it labeled that? Just label it equipment. Okay, so we want to go with brawling weapons. We're going to go with our knuckle dusters. How expensive are they? Price? 2.6. I haven't actually bought anything here. But we need to buy brawling weapons because that's just going to be okay. How money works in the Empire? The Empire's coins are mostly yeah. 1 silver shilling equals 12 brass pennies. Why? What? Why? This is the worst currency system. I can't tell right off rip how expensive stuff is in the game because of this thing right here. Why do this? I don't get this currency system. I cannot wrap my brain around this. It looks like it's in denominations of 20 per, right? But like 1 silver shilling equals 12 brass pennies. Over, yeah. Oh, fuck this. Oh no. Who wants this? This does not increase my immersion. This is dumb. Don't do this. Don't do this in your RPG. Keep it in denominations of either 10 or 100. Super cake. Like 1971, yeah. Oh god. Oh, I'm not a big oh, that's very frustrating. Okay, so we are looking at our knuckle dusters, 2 out of 6. It's their fault for why I don't want to engage with their look. They wrote a dumb currency system here. I'm gonna say it's 6 from this. Chat, I don't even want to hear if I'm wrong. Sure, I've got knuckle dusters because it's gonna be important to my character. Okay. In it? Yeah. So 0 on the encumbrance, common, personal, the personal reach, plus SB plus 2. SB was 2, so 2 plus 2, so 4. Right? Qualities. None. Oh wait, and I'm putting it in the wrong thing. Actually, the funny thing is, I think we're good. SB plus 2. Yeah. Very short actually on the reach. There we go. Free decimal British currency. Don't get me started on farthings and groats. It doesn't. Oh god, it does nothing for me. Absolutely nothing for me. Cloak. I don't think any of this stuff actually encumbers us at all. I don't think the pouch does. The knuckle dusters. I think we're actually pretty free up on that. So we have 28 of these poop coins, whatever they are. Yeah. The week in Warhammer is 8 days. Oh, sweet! I'm glad to know that info, so I can absolutely forget it. Okay, so how long ago did we start this stream? Because that's about when we started making this character. Yeah, I want to see real quick. We had about 10 minutes where we were talking about other stuff. Oh, Yeah, I want to see real quick. Okay. So I've been explaining some stuff, and I'll give it some credit. It takes a little while. It took me about an hour. Okay. There were definitely other things that we were talking about from the get-go, but that took about an hour. And I here's the other problem. I don't really know after doing this if I've done this correctly. I don't feel confident that I absolutely have. And the overall amount of information that's on this character sheet has me a little bit concerned that there's a lot of room for fuck up. Like, a lot of room. This on top of kind of what's going on with its combat system. Yeah, and the characters are supposed to die. Yeah. If this is supposed to be a grimdark setting, I don't think that you can have this incredibly crazy amount of character expression and be like, yeah, it's super lethal. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna kill your character and make you make a new one, which is gonna take up half the time to play again. Yeah, no, God, I can't with this. I don't like. I don't really. It's not lethal. You have the fate points. I personally don't think that this needs to be this robust. I like what it wants to do. Sorry, I'm trying to get this mic going. I like what this wants to do. I have seen a bit in the system that makes me think that there's just a bit too much granularity and crunch happening. And I think that other things have now come along and done it better than this. As a real quick, short summary, if I'm doing a skill check in this, because we were like, yeah, it's a D100 based system. So like, if I'm going to make, my character's going to make this athletics check, right? So I'm concerned about this number right here, the 57. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to see, I don't know, do I grapple it? Oh, what do you know? 23. Yeah, it's below that number, so I would grapple it, right? Your opinion, second edition is doing so many better things than fourth edition, though. Yes. This is the thing that I've been hearing pretty unanimously, is that everyone pretty much only pays attention to the second edition one. So, this is a part of what one of my talking points is going to be on the Zweihander videos. I think that Zweihander is... Yeah, it is more complex, yeah. Zweihander did a lot of things to kind of clean up not just how quick it is to make a character, because it's similarly... no, I don't think it takes about an hour. It's a little bit shorter than this. It also cleaned up a lot of stuff going on with the combat, and it kind of cut out some of the things that I think are just sort of needless and very micromanage heavy that come with Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play. There's also a bit on the character sheet that I'm seeing that it just makes me think that they have a better grasp as to what the how to better create a more accessible game. I guess is what I mean. They know how to create for better accessibility and user experience, I feel like, with this Zweihander material. I don't know that this combat engine is necessarily the kind of thing that I would personally like engaging with. I've already listed a couple of examples earlier as to why it's not my thing. Mostly leaning in on the idea that I'm not a big individual initiative combat guy anymore. Ever since I played Merkborg, I'm not sold on the need for individual initiative. I think we can absolutely get rid of it. Action point systems goes even further into saying, I don't know that this would be for me. Zweihander also does the action point system. It still does. For me, it still comes off as less word soupy at the moment than Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. And so many things is messed up. Like in 3 books from Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition, give you 3 different methods for casting spells. Downtime activities is broken and can be messed up the whole party experience if you use raw and more. I asked 3 other creators who I knew had some experience with this. Oh, hey, what up, kid? Someone always wants to stay away from it. Yeah. So Discourse actually told me that there's a mechanic in here that can bust the game wide open. You also play with a dyslexic friend and he can't read his sheet without some help, so with how much is going on. Yeah. We have a spreadsheet going on for a character sheet. Despite all this, by the way, I like the core of what's happening with character expression. Because the really cool and unique thing that happens here, let's go back up to our villager, right? You're building endpoints to progress along this path, right? So you build experience on being a peasant, right? In here, eventually as you get a promotion, you level up in the villager, you go up, you level up in the counselor, and you can get experience outside of just fights. You get them from like the things you do as a character engaging with this world, which could include the social interactions. Yeah. This is a very well put together book. I like the art. I like a lot of what's happening in here with the layout. There's some things that are a little tiny bit confusing in regards to how you're building your character. I think the overall span and explosion of experience points may be able to be reduced to, you know, lower numbers, maybe. Give me the system. But to be honest, every weekend you're playing an 8 to 12 hour game in this system, and it's awesome. So, like, what's your draw? What's your draw to it, really? Is it the feeling that the game itself is a lot of fun because of the group? Because, I mean, I you know, I hear that. I think for my personal taste, I see a lot of potential. I see a shitload of potential going on with the character expression. I just don't know that the system is really grabbing me. And what this looks like to me is a very interesting resolution mechanic that needed more development. I also think that making a character is interesting, but ultimately leads to a sort of a super peasant, right? Like, not as in like super powered, but just like it's a lot of nothing that tells you it's a lot of something, but it's not. The world is a big selling point too. Yeah, the Warhammer Fantasy world is really cool. I will say the book and its production value. I do actually think the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th edition rulebook does look better in terms of its production value than the Zweihander book. This one also came out afterwards, I want to say. And this one also had a lot more money that could have gone into it. I'll say that much. Where's the printing info on here? 2020. So yeah, this came out 3 or 4 years after Zweihander. The Zweihander revised. And, like, look, the book is very pretty, right? Fantasy Roleplay. That cover's great. It's kind of stock insofar as, like, fantasy covers go, you know. A bunch of characters fighting that's a giant Scabbin rat man, you know. That's cool. And we see these characters sort of expressed throughout it. Guns are kind of standard MO with this kind of a fantasy game, right? Ow. There's the map of the world, and that's really cool to have right there. I really like that. Zweihander's got red in papers. This is Smith's Zone. It will lay flat whenever you hold it open, right? Woo! Except Zweihander has a fucking bookmark. And I'm sorry, but as much as I flipped through that other book, it showed me in this system, and this core in particular, you need one of these. You could always just put a piece of paper in there. I totally get it. But like, give me a bookmark, please. In a way, this does, the Warhammer book does kind of remind me a lot of WotC's production values, where this is a nicer book than the D&D books, by the way. There's a lot more going for this one than there are the D&D books. But it doesn't really feel quite as much like there's as much care going into it, despite the clear resources put into it, is what I'll say, if that makes sense. I think that the system feels a little bit rushed. A little bit about Chaosium, they have bookmarks. Oh, wait till I introduce you to Free League. My ear just itched. Ah! What if I pull out like a giant centipede as soon as I pull this out of my ear? Okay, we're good. Now, here's the cool thing. Out of all that, I will say, Zweihander book. Fuck! This is a thick boy tome, okay? This is, like I've heard of, a fuck off book. Right? Here, I'm going to drop it on my desk. You ready? That is a big-ass book. All right? That is 669 pages. A lot of it is character options. It is huge. I have some complaints about the layout of what's kind of going on in here, and I am kind of formulating my thoughts as I'm going to go into this video. But I will say, character creation is very similar. Go look at the illness and madness sections fun times. Yeah. Character creation is very similar. Apollo heard that and came rushing in here. Character creation is very similar. But here's the really nice thing. You introduced me to Free League. You were the guy that said, yeah, this thing about Dragon Bane. No, you're not. I appreciate you introducing me to Dragon Bane, but I got introduced to Free League through Tales from the Loop. Whenever I did the Kids on Bikes review. Yeah. But I appreciate you. Much love, Sweet Threat. Now, there's another, there is something that, from what I've been told, I come bearing good news, okay? Because I am going to be doing videos on these, but I will say, for that big fucking tome I just slammed down right there, it's quite nice to know that Zweihander's Reforged is taking the approach of the fucking Moldvay Basic Edition and condensing, making a goddamn character into this. Ooh. That's cool. Yeah, in this economy, right? So, from what I was told from the creators, so I've been talking with Daniel Fox a little bit. What I was told about this is that for the Reforged, if you have the Zweihander starter kit, you've already been given a preview as to what they're doing for the Reforged. They've been like secretly sneaking or hinting at this for a little while now. The starter kit also, by the way, other than the Dragonbane starter kit, this is the best one in the industry. Like, hands down. Hang on. Oh, my back. Okay. Yeah, other than the Dragonbane starter kit, which is really, I mean, the Dragonbane starter kit is the Dragonbane game in a box. It's a lot. There's a lot going for that one. I think the Dragonbane starter kit is also like 2 or 3 times as expensive as this. This starter kit is slick. All right. But the reason I've actually got two, number one, I'm going to do like an unboxing in one of these videos. But, and this is not a sponsored stream. Not this one. I've talked to them about doing videos, and I'm just kind of doing this as a like kind of wrapping my mind around and getting some thoughts out there with people that have played Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play and Zweihander. This player's guide. I like a lot of what they're doing in here. I have criticized Zweihander for its layout being pretty unclear at times. Let me try and get the PDF pulled up so you guys can see what I mean. Yeah, sure, we'll take that. Wait, phone PDF? Oh, please tell me it's actually got bookmarks and tabs and stuff. Can we do high res? Please? How big is this PDF going to be? Oh, no. Woof, that's a big file, huh? Oh, yeah, I forget it's like a 700-page PDF. Hang on. All right, chill, my peeps. How are you all doing? How's the character creation? Good, we made it through making a character. It took about an hour. Well, while that's downloading, I watched Shin Godzilla last night for the first time. Boy, that was fucking wild. Here we go. 363. Definitely my new favorite Godzilla movie. This is gonna take a second to really scroll through. How bad is this for the... Oh, no. Okay. It is no worse than the Warhammer one was. Yeah, it was fucking sick. Okay. Let me pull up. Downloads. How about Zweihander character sheet? Is it? Okay, so this isn't the official character sheet, but it is a good one. Okay. All right. So yeah, Shin Godzilla has one. Oh yeah, that version of Godzilla is fucking sick. Oh my god. Because it actually feels like a monster. Okay. So I am going to bring up these points in this video that I'm going to do, but let's talk about this. Zweihander's revised core rulebook. Making a character over here. Here's a character sheet that kind of summarizes it. It's not the official Zweihander character sheet, but this is covering all the big points right here. And by the way, this is a game that is essentially acting very similar to the game that we just made a character for. Whenever I say that, like, making a character in this just kind of fucking snapped and just went, yeah, I was, there's a lot of design from reduction that's gone on into this one, that I'm a really huge fan of. They removed a lot of the granularity from Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play that I don't think gets enough praise. They already did a lot of reduction, but the problem for me right now with the revised core rulebook, there's too much info in here. I think that there's a huge, this is a fucking tome, my people, right? It's cool that they were able to get the index to page 666 and end it there, right? But like, this is a lot of material, a lot. But making a character in here, here's the fun thing though. This is reduced down, and they have done a lot of things with this game that, chat, correct me if I'm wrong, They did a lot more with the D100 system than Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play has ever since they had originally started it. Blah, blah, blah. So like Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play doesn't have some of the mechanics that they have in here for shaking up the resolution mechanic. Let me show you what I mean. One of my favorite things that they do in here is flipping the results to fail, flipping the results to succeed. This is a form of advantage, disadvantage. Flip the results to fail. Let's see. Where's flip to succeed? Is it after that? Okay, flip to succeed. So basically it's like this. If I have a D100 roll, okay, let's say 77. Whoa, well, okay, so that's a crit actually, but let me do something else. Let's say that my stat is my stat in this thing, let's give it a 52, okay? So 47 is already going to pass because we got roll under. Let's give me another one. 52 in this stat. Okay, that's going to pass. Give me another one. Give me another one. Come on. Come on. Give me a bad one. Woo! 99. Actually, that's a crit fail. God damn it. Why? I can't reroll that. Hang on. 45 would pass. Okay. So that's 5. That's very good. Sorry. I'm trying to get it to give me a good demonstration roll here. 54. Let's say that I have a 52. Okay. Let's say that I have a 52. Now, with this 52, this 54 I just rolled will not pass that, right? But with flip the results to succeed, I could flip those numbers to a 45, right? So it depends on what the mechanic kind of calls for in here, but this is a form of like potentially getting the advantage or disadvantage in a situation, right? So I really like that kind of a little, ooh, that's kind of cute and clever. How interesting, right? Yeah. So there's a tiny little idea in there for what that could be. I don't know what it would really factor into, but it's fun, right? Let me see. In here, they cover the opposed tests, assisted tests, skill, synergy. As far as I have seen, the thing that's kind of happening in here, they have the critical success and failure, automatic success and failure. Where was it? I was looking for Fury and Chaos dice is basically like an exploding dice. Fortune pool. So they have these fortune, misfortune things in here. Character creation. Okay. What was I thinking of? I swear there was a thing I was thinking of. It might have been in the remaster? Oh my god. Oh, and I really like for the remaster, they chose an actual face for the brand of Zweihander. And, yeah. You don't see her in here, but you see her all over the Reforged stuff. It's just a fucking sick character design. The layout does kind of suck, yes. And by the way, they have admitted that this was the person who did the layout on this one, not to like really shrug blame on anybody here, but this wasn't really, they weren't a game layout person. So because of that, and because there was, like they admit, a lot of overwriting that happens with the rules in here, it is a thicker book. One of my favorite things that I have heard so far, though, about the promotions around the Reforged is that, get this, in the editing for what they've done, they've trimmed out over 250 fucking pages from this book. And that's what they're going to be doing with their Kickstarter. I have the player's handbook somewhere around here, and I think that's the size of their player's handbook for what is effectively a game mastery guide and player's handbook here. You don't need to know everything that's in this book to understand the game. It's usually only about like maybe the first 200 pages, if even that. Yeah, they did a lot of trimming back here. Percentile die, special die, D100 skill tests, acting and narrating, looking for Flip to succeed. Dice matches are critical. Oh yeah, this is another thing. If you'll notice in here, you see how a lot of this is just pictures of art, where we're talking about skills, right? We're talking about dice mechanics in here. This is another thing that they're addressing with the Reforged. This is the accessibility that's happening here is not super great. They have the dice that they've drawn right here, but you don't see a lot of examples of how the dice are being used, right? However, in the Reforged at least, they give you examples of how to read the dice, right? The flip to succeed mechanic. The layout looks infinitely better because they've broken up the text in different colors with the headers. Let's go here. Oh, come on. There we go, right? The tables are actually broken up apart from the text to where it doesn't just look like kind of brown on white, right? The text isn't just a bunch of columns. It's this feels incredibly clean, and like the art is actually complementing the text. Whereas beforehand with this, there is a game here. There is definitely a game that people do like here. Like James Introcaso wrote for this, right? Daniel Kwan, Gabe Hicks. There's a lot of people that actually like this so much, they went and made another game based off of this. Boom. This, by the way, the only thing that I've gotten sent to me from anyone on the Zweihander team was a starter kit. I've actually bought my own for the everything else you're seeing in here. I bought on my own. Okay, Flames of Freedom. I loved the idea of this Revolutionary War, America, grimdark, fucking super cool. I love this idea. I always really wanted to see America expressed in fantasy and what like that version of it would be like, right? Yeah, let's get away from medieval Europe and see what we can do with like, okay, fantasy America? Sick. You never hear of people really talking about that. At least not since Monsters of America. Whenever that came out, oh, I was so fucking down for that. But that's a very much more jokey sort of modern take on America. This is rooting it back into like, you know, founding father style, right? But you had a lot of people who, yeah, it is an American baseline tone, grimdark. Yeah, essentially, right? There are a lot of people who were involved with this who were also very critical of the way that some games represent people of color. And they handled this scenario very well. This is presenting itself as a sort of its own game. And I love how it looks like a fucking history book. That's so great. This looks like Hamilton, right? Like, yeah. A small collection of spot art and being told make it work and then actually doing art to represent the design. You get the former too often. Yes! Exactly. Absolutely 100%. How'd you miss Flames of Freedom? Go check it out. Dude, this is sick. I really dig this. Everyone's kind of expected to play baseline human, but like you're going up against American like monsters from mythology. Swamp Ape. Like, look at this. A rap section. Yeah. Oozes, owls, redcoats, revenants, where we got krakens. Okay, here's the other thing though. I want to talk about this. Oh, how interesting. What was supposed to go on that page? Is something. I don't know. There's just like a piece of paper without any text on it. I'm kind of curious what happened with that. Or if that's meant to be there. I will say, compared to like Zweihander's layout, this has an upgrade, okay? And I'll show you here what I mean. This upgrade, by the way, is also, from what I understand, kind of a preview at what they're doing with the Zweihander Reforged. So looking over here, I feel like there is some heart to this system. And we'll make a character over here so you guys can see kind of what I mean, right? There's a lot of heart going on with this system. And I think that it simplified a lot of the Warhammer Fantasy role-playing thing in a way that facilitates both dramatic and slightly tactical gaming without the feeling of war game crunch. And again, if you like that war game crunch, cool, that's there for you. But I think Zweihander is doing something different, right? So, like, the problem I have, though, is that this layout right here makes everything look like it's just a huge lecture. So, character creation. This is a lot. And by the way, I'm saying this after these guys have sponsored the video. So, this is a lot of crunch happening in here. A lot of... I say a lot of crunch. This is a lot of text without really hitting on what do I need to know to play the thing? What do I need to know? Give me that info, right? Here we have the character creation overview. Begin basic tier, primary attributes, gender and ancestry, archetype and profession, secondary attributes, background, hand of fate, alignment, build your profession. Okay? So, going up from the very, very top, begin basic tier. Before you begin, it's important to understand the distinction between tiers of play. A tier is a measurement of competence representing a character's experiences over the course of the adventures. Each tier represents choices you've made over the course of the story. In Zweihander, there are 3 tiers: basic, intermediate, and advanced tier. Whenever you first create a character, you begin in basic tier. Each tier has a certain number of requirements a character must fulfill before moving into a new tier. The basic tier requires you to spend reward points on benefits, otherwise called advances, outlined in your profession's description. Characters gain promotion to the next tier by fulfilling all advances from the previous tier. For now, go to the first page of the character sheet and record basic tier. Tier? Anywhere? I don't know if it's going to say that on this character sheet or if that's really all that super, super important. I don't think it actually really is all that important. Okay. Primary attributes. So here we're getting a very similar thing, right? So combat points, brawn points, agility points, perception bonus, intelligence points, willpower bonus, fellowship points. Ooh, we actually have less. Because if you'll remember, on the last one, there was like melee and ballistic. So there was a change between like whether or not you were really good at ranged or really good at melee. So like we've got a little bit of reduction happening right in there. Combat, it's been simplified. Brawn, agility, perception, intelligence, willpower. Cool. Where was it? Fellowship. Where was... Oh, the Grim and Perilous method. Okay, so now that you understand what each primary attribute does and the skills they influence, it's time to generate them using the Grim and Perilous method. This is the standard method for allocating basic attributes to your character and that your character possesses. Wait a second, I just remembered something. I should be... let me change the title. Bingo bango. All right. Now, roll 3d10 and add each face value to 25, which generates a percentage result. This means if you roll 3d10 and the die lands on a face 4, 3, and 9, you end up with a 41. 25 plus 4 plus 3 plus 9. As you generate each result, let's just start, right? 3d10. Oh, okay, so this is going to be for combat. Let's do this and this. 3, 4, so 7. Uh-oh, there we go. 8. The 25 plus 8 is going to give us 33. Okay, and there's our... Ooh, remember where I said on the other character sheet, there was another number that came from that... that attribute that we weren't able to really put on the character sheet. It was this little bonus right here. It's very nice to just have that on the character sheet. Please don't hide that info from me. Pretty please. Thank you. All right, brawn. We have 9 plus 9 plus 3. So 21. 25 plus 21 is 46. It looks like we are building a fucking boxer, apparently. Agility. We're just going to take that. 6, 6, that's 12. 13. 25 plus 13 is going to be 38. Right? Am I dumb on math? Yeah, that's 38. 3 right there. Perception. 3 plus 8, 4, 12. So 12 plus, so that's going to be 37. 4, 2, so 6 plus 7, right? Are you still? Okay, 13, so another 38. By the way, I need to put these in here. 3. Willpower. 9 plus 3, so 12. Plus the 13, another 38. As you're probably seeing, it's already slightly more generous than Warhammer was. 1. 4, so 5, so 30. 36. Okay, cool. So here we got our stats. We got 33, 46, 38, 37, 38, 38, 36. And as a reminder, D100 system. So whenever we roll, let's say we're checking for brawn for some reason. Okay, that would be a failure, 81. Now, if we do flip to succeed, or flip to whatever that is, then it could be an 18. Ha ha! There's already cool ideas happening with the system. All right. So now that we have that, let's go back over here. We have those separate numbers, your gender and ancestry. So we're using the term ancestry to the rest of this work. Your gender, you don't really need to pay too much attention to that. D100. 16. We're a dwarf. Just gonna go male. Okay. Dwarf. Ancestral modifiers. +1 to BB, CB, and WB. BB, so it's actually changing this number right here. So 5. CB. 4 over here. WB. So 4 right here. -1 to AB, FB, and PB. AB, FB. Really? The dwarf gets a -1 to fellowship? You would think they'd be like the friendliest dudes. Okay. And PB. This is perception, right? Okay. All right, cool. And then we can roll a D100 to get our ancestral traits. Yeah, dwarf boxer. Is that 87 or 81? Did that die get cocked? Here, will we... Is this... You know what? We're going to take 87 because stone-headed looks like that's going to be what we want. In reference to elves, yeah, maybe. Stone-headed. Okay, I'll write that down for now. Right, so we have our ancestry. Oh, it's right here. You're immune to magic with which may control your mind and can see through illusions without fail. I love how that's just right there. Can I paste that as plain? Oh, weird. Why is it formatting? we're gonna ignore that. Interesting. I don't know why that's formatting differently than the rest of the text in there. We'll figure that out. It'll bother me later. Okay. We had our... I don't think we needed anything else from that, right? Archetype and profession. All right, what are we? Dwarf boxer, right? So we're going to go for the warrior or maybe knave? What are we going to get? 69. Hey, what do we get? Investigator? Oh, no, wait. That's, wait. Socialite. All right, so we're a socialite. Maybe provocateur or anarchist. 1, 6. Courtier. Oh, we need our starting trappings from this, by the way. So socialite. Profession. We're a what? Courtier. Okay. Coin purse, fancy shoes, fashionable clothing, foppish hat, bandolier, rapier, or walking cane. Walking cane? We can beat the fuck out of people with a walking cane? Put that up over here. Your equipment, sure. Fancy shoes. If we had a very well-dressed... Knuckle dusters! There we go. That's what we wanted. Riding kit and choose one. Throwing knives with bandolier or rapier or walking cane as improvised hand weapon. Walking cane. Right? All right, I'm back. Hey, welcome, welcome. Neck ruff. Shoulder bag. Riding kit. Voltorb. Mandrake root. Mantle. Neck ruff. Gengar. Holy symbol. Knuckle duster is going to be the main thing that we're going to use. So we're going to write that in right here. And hey, what do you know? You actually roll dice for the damage in here. Oh, nice. Okay. So we have our archetype. We have our profession, right? So we are a courtier. There's a dooming in here as well. We'll kind of talk about. Molding your profession, secondary attributes. Secondary attributes focus on in-combat statistics, relying on your primary attribute bonuses as a baseline. The combination of these characteristics determine how much you can haul comfortably in a fight, how quickly you can react to danger, how fast you move, how many hits you can take before dying, and just how much strain you can sustain before passing out. Physical threshold, the peril tests and everything. I'm trying to remember. I don't think there's anything we need to know. There's the peril threshold, but I think everybody's is the same. Oh, no, not quite. Okay, so that's already calculated for us right here. Okay, so we're going to go... You're dooming. And Zweihander superstition is an accepted part of reality. Remember doomed from whenever we were talking... Oh, I've had these dice on my face the whole time. All right. So some people were talking about the doomed mechanic of the talent over in Warhammer. This is very similar, and I think in Warhammer there was also a star sign, and the star sign is repurposed into a dooming over here. So what this dooming is, it's like an omen. So 88, what is my doom? Lightning sometimes does strike twice. So I may wind up getting hit by lightning again in the future, and that'll relate to how I die. Neat. Lightning sometimes does strike twice. Sure. I guess we can put that in our background. Or, oh, this PDF does not really want you to copy paste, huh? How weird. Okay. Lightning sometimes does strike twice. We'll keep it there. Okay, so going from there. Oh, that's right. You're supposed to roll for which season you're in. Hang on. Let me just see. 67? Autumn. Okay, so we would have gotten a different result. I don't know. It doesn't need to be all this crazy. Yeah, okay, whatever. 5. Thy skin shall darken if soaked in ink. I think I'm gonna get canceled for that. Thy skin shall darken as if soaked in ink. Okay. So, our age group. We're gonna roll. In the bear behind the door, the 3 and 1. At least it was quick, yeah. I think we're getting our dwarf wrestler up here, though. All right, 51. They're an adult. I don't know. Does it really matter how old they are? We're gonna say here. How old are they? 50 years old. 50. Okay. You can say they're middle-aged, I guess. Okay. So now we have to roll on this table. You must roll twice on the distinguishing marks table. 3. Acne scarred face. Let's put that up here. This is just, yeah, twice. There was a really funny one I got the other night. 49. Please tell me this is it. Is it Irresistible Beauty? Lanky hair. God damn it. Yeah, there was one I got the other night that was like, Lazy Eye, Irresistible Beauty. Okay, so lanky hair, acne scarred face. Cool, cool. For some reason, it feels like the acne scarred face comes up a lot in here. Complexion, build type. We could get into this, but like, this is kind of just getting into the like very, very specifics of character creation and like fluff. So like, we'll just sort of skip over here. Height and weight. If you wanted to get into the specifics of it, here you go. For me, this comes off a lot easier than what they listed over in the Warhammer book. I mean, rather than converting the inches over, if this came up and it was really super important, I guess you know that you are a dwarf that is 4.5 feet tall, right? And then it gives you your weight if you need that. But seeing as this character sheet doesn't have a spot for it, by the way, this is not the official Zweihander character sheet. This is one that was like a fan-made one. They are changing the character sheet for the Reforged one. So I will have a version of that up in the video that I'm doing. But, okay, now. Upbringing. This is the thing that we need to... I think it's upbringing and social class, right? Okay, social class. 7? Lowborn. Hell yeah. Thrives in squalor. We're gonna be poor and beat the shit out of stuff. What is our... Duty 10 plus 2 silver shillings. The 5-foot swing trap passes overhead. Yeah. 9. 18. 18 plus, so 20 silver shillings. Hey. Oh no, wait. Shit. Brass pennies. 18. 19 plus 3, so 22. Wait, what? Oh. What? What is going on with this character sheet? Brass pennies. Yeah, it's always felt a little bit weird putting copper pennies, abbreviating that on a character sheet. I don't know. Okay. So, you have drawbacks that you can add to your character. Again, a lot of the stuff that's on here is kind of fluff to help kind of flesh out your character. Again, I feel like if you really want to engage with this sort of stuff, go for it. Me personally, I'm kind of like, I guess if it's here, cool. While you're not required to take a drawback, you may optionally select one in order to return, or in return for one additional fate point at the end of character creation. Won't really screw with that too much. Scroll through here. The Hand of Fate. Starting fate points. This is sort of what we had over with Warhammer with the Fate Fortune right there. Starting fate points. When you first create your character in the basic tier for a Zweihander game, you begin play with 1 fate point. However, if you select to take a drawback, you can begin with 2 instead. So, 1 fate point. Don't actually see a place for us to put that on here. Again, not the official one. It would be cool though if we could get that. Okay. Alignment. So this is part of where the roleplay side of Zweihander really comes to the focus over Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. If I roll this, what is my alignment here? 44. Ferocity and hatred. So my order alignment is ferocity. Chaos alignment would be hatred. I could always mix that up. Hatred. Figuring out maybe there's a hate for, I don't know, certain animals. I guess if your table was cool with going into that with certain like ancestries, you could. Always talk that stuff over. But yeah. So like ferocity as my order alignment, dwarf male, lowborn courtier. Yes, this kind of leans into the idea of what we had with our brawler here. Moving forward from that, adaptation and mayhem. Here's another kind of problem I have with this. This is taking up a lot of the section on character creation that I'm happy to see that they will be sort of cleaning up in the future. And this segment in particular, this is explaining the corruption system for Zweihander, which is something that plays very heavily into the roleplay mechanic of the game, right? There is a roleplay mechanic of the use of corruption as a means of not acting against archetype, right? If you do something that would otherwise be kind of against what your character would most likely be doing in accordance with their alignment here, you would incur a little bit of corruption, and this corruption could potentially sway your overall moral compass as a result of that, right? So this could subject you to certain traumas. It also rewards you for acting like in accordance with alignment. It's kind of interesting in the way that really works out. So like, I'll just read it right in here. My issue with it right now is that it doesn't have its own separate subheader right here. And this is the kind of thing that actually seems to be so important. I feel like it probably should. So like at the end of each game session, your alignment has a chance of moving by one step or more towards your order or chaos alignment. There are many scenarios where the ranks may change. Overall, it will be as a result of your character's personality flaring up at opportune and inopportune moments during the story. These narrative choices you've made as a character will increase the probability that your order or chaos ranks will change. During play, you will keep track of a penalty value called corruption. Corruption is bestowed upon your character as you take actions the GM has deemed as potentially destructive, self-motivated, morally questionable, or selfish. The more corruption you accumulate during the game session, the more likely that your order or chaos ranks will increase. You will temporarily earn corruption under many different circumstances during a game session, generally at the behest of the GM. Below are a few examples. Carry through with narrative actions that may be deemed morally questionable, reprehensible, or violent. Channel power to casting magic. Fail a resolve test to resist stress, fear, or terror. Suffer a moderate, severe, or grievous injury. Reach incapacitated on the peril condition track. Violate your god strictures if you practice divine magic. So, without getting super far into that, essentially this is a means of saying that, like, your character is expected to act a particular way, and this is more of a guide for you as to how you should act according to type in a way. But it's not a restriction, because if you wanted to, you could continue building up corruption to potentially cause a massive change in your character and potentially inflict a trauma, right? So this isn't necessarily saying that, like, always avoid doing this, as sometimes it's saying, no, embrace the chaos and see what happens. End of session tally. At the end of every game session, the GM will roll a 1d10 corruption die to see if the effects psychologically scar your character. If the result on the corruption die is equal to or less than the total corruption you accumulated during the game session, you will increase your chaos rank by 1 step. If the result is more than the total corruption you accumulated during the session, it increases your order rank by 1 step instead. If you instead have no corruption, you simply improve your order rank by 1 step. However, if for some reason you earned in excess of 10 corruption that game session, increase your chaos rank instead by 1 step automatically and roll against the remainder to see if you gain an additional chaos rank. You can never gain both an order and a chaos rank in the same game session. After rolling, erase any of the corruption you gained, yada yada yada. So, this is all an interesting idea. This balance of order, chaos, all inflicting in with your corruption. I also really like that this is a means of simulating something like a sanity mechanic without anything inherently saying this is sanity. Nothing is really saying in this that this is any kind of a mental detriment. It's corruption that's happening here. And however your table wants to go about that, it's there. So I think there's something to be said for the way that they handled that mechanic, right? Now, corruption exists as another mechanic over in Warhammer, which is like one of the things that we were looking at down here. But it's like corruption and mutation. So, like, I like this idea a lot. And I like the sort of, like, this thing that it's not telling you you need to act in accordance with what's on the character sheet. You can kind of act against it, and it almost seems like a twisting of your character. There is a sort of, like, they don't usually act like this. What's going on, right? And that sudden unsure, maybe suspicion kind of hints at something darker kind of happening or whatever. I do kind of dig what corruption is speaking to right here for roleplay. That is, I actually think, one of the more interesting aspects of the whole system. Now, building your profession. Write down that you have 1,000 reward points on the 3rd page of your character sheet. Okay, we're actually going to put that up over here. Go over here. Reward points. Okay. So we have 1,000 reward points. In Chapter 4, Professions, you'll spend these reward points to finalize creation. Once completed, you'll be ready to play a game as Zweihander. So I've stopped a little bit to talk. I'm also kind of keeping track of how much time we spent doing this. Now, basic tier, you're going to buy your professional trait. You spend 100 reward points to enter your profession. Okay, so we spent that 100. We're at 900. Okay. Iconic trapping. If you are starting a chapter or character creation in basic tier, you also gain 1 iconic trapping for your profession. Surgical tools for a barber surgeon, horse for an outrider, prayer book for a preacher, small but vicious dog for a rat catcher. Work with your GM to find a suitable piece of equipment selected from Chapter 7 trappings. What are we, a courtier? So let's say, knave, socialite, ranger. We need build your professions. Here we go. Courtier. There we go. Thankfully, this one's actually in alphabetical order. Oh, okay. So we're like, oh, what's the dude from Django Unchained? The German dentist dude. Hans? Is it Dr. Schreiber? No, shit. What's his name? Christoph Waltz played him. Oh my god. It is Hans. What's his last name? Schultz. Hans Schultz. Yes, thank you. All right. So, ensconced with the trusted circles of petty barons, powerful dukes and kings, courtiers are driven by intense political ambition. Being masters of intrigue, their uncanny ability to bend the ear of powerful people fuels their desire for total political domination from behind the scenes. Haunting administrative halls, salons, soirees, and banquets, they plot and scheme to raise their rank in coffers. Having spent most of their lives rubbing elbows with the blue-blooded aristocracy, they know all the proper forms and courtesies and use them to their advantage when face-to-face with their betters. Their strengths rely on their insight and ability to adapt. Petty words, flattery, and platitudes are their hallmark, the shield they protect themselves with. The pen is mightier than the sword, and the pen is mightier than the sword, and Courtier uses it freely, but a life of decadence eats away at their humanity, seeing everyone as a potential enemy to be ruined. When intrigue fails, they make no discrimination between ruining a man with a batch of lies or a knife between the ribs. Every courtier who plays the great Game of Thrones carries a gentleman's dagger, otherwise known as a stiletto, when the time calls for swords. Alright, so I need a stiletto. We're going to say that. Hey, I have my knuckle duster. I get the iconic thing, right? Why is this doing that? Let me prepare the form. Is this like a rich text formatting thing? Appearance, Arial, how about auto? Why are you doing this weird thing? And there goes all my equipment. What just happened to you? Well, I had the knuckle dusters, all that good stuff. I got the stiletto. I think I had the pimp cane, right? That I can beat people with. The rest of it's fine. We'll just let that be. Stiletto. Yeah, Game of Thrones mentioned. Yeah. Okay. So we can buy these skill ranks. We can buy these bonus advances. This was another critique I had for this. This layout can be a little bit confusing, and I'm glad to see that they also feel the same, and they have changed this in the new one. I actually need to take this. This is the talent I get for this. I do like that all the other ones are opt-in, right? It's made pretty clear. Ow. Okay, wait, can I do this? I like that it did that. Hang on. Why does it let me format this over here? Me cut, right? And then up here. Yes. Oh. Here we go. Sick. Okay, so I think the rest of them cost 100 per for me to buy them. Buying character advances. Give you a unique knack to some for your profession. If proficiency right decay, skill ranks. You gain training and raw bonuses to your skills, otherwise referred to by apprentice, journeyman, and master skill ranks. For each skill rank, you gain a plus 10 base chance to use that skill. Furthermore, skill ranks are cumulative, which means that a character who has purchased 3 skill ranks in a single skill gains a bonus of 30 base chance to hit. That there's definitely a way that they could have cleaned that up to say more with less. Must be spent to customize your character. So this is where we spend these points right in here. What I was looking for. Advances. Each of these advances costs 100 points. So the bonus advance is tied to it. You must spend reward points to purchase all 7 of these bonus advances before you can move into another one. Some of these have a +1 bonus to 1 primary attribute bonus, and then some of these go to a skill, others go to a talent. Now, in order for you to advance in your profession or do something else, you have to buy everything that's in it, right? So, like, if I'm a courtier, each of these was 100, if I'm remembering that right. So bonus advances, these are going to increase these bonuses by 1. So let's buy like 2 of these. Let's go with the 2 with brawn, I guess. Sure. Let's go. Let's increase you to 7. I want one with toughness too. I guess that is brawn. Yes. Okay, cool. They did the thing I did with Vagabond too. Combine strength and constitution into one thing. Yep. That is not. Oh shit, that is not the right thing. I was looking at the wrong table. Hang on, guys. Okay. There we go. Okay. AV, so agility. FV. Is that fellowship? Let's do 2 here. Agility here. Right? So like, bam. So that is 300 right there. We got 6. We're going to rank up. How about rumor, scrutinize, simple melee? So 1, 2, 3. Rumor, scrutinize, simple melee. Let's also go stealth. That's 400. I like skullduggery as a word. Eavesdrop. The 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let me see here. So with that 5, that brings us down to 100. And then let's just get a talent, right? I don't know. Hold out? Sure. You always succeed at skullduggery test to conceal effects no larger than a knife on your person. Let's just take that because, wow, that sounds kind of nice. Whoop. Oh my god. Okay. I need to disable all of that. This is so in-depth. It's very crunchy. But I will say it does feel more intuitive and less crunchy than Warhammer. Oh my god. And I think a part of that is it's basing a lot of the stuff off of this bonus that you're impacting rather than this number up here. Here, let's copy paste that. Right. All right, so that should be all the reward points that we've spent. And I think with that, to write down the 100 points. We have our trappings that we need to go and get. Yeah, but like at that point, we essentially have a character ready to go. Okay. I'm gonna double check. How long was that? Okay, so while we were still talking a little bit of layout stuff, yeah, I mean, it's around 45, maybe 30 minutes. Yeah. So what I will say right here, there is, I can see a lot of taking what Warhammer was doing, right? And cleaning up and simplifying a lot of the system. And it's something that still plays. It's just not with all of the very, very hard crunch that goes into it. It is still a D100 base, so we're still dealing with numbers that make it look, I think, slightly more intimidating than something like a 1 to 20. But, I mean, I don't know. What do we think, Chad? Because for me, I personally really like having it more reeled back like this. I don't really think I need all the hyper specifics of like ranged bow being this advanced skill over here. Melee brawling need to be its own thing. Consuming alcohol needing to be its own skill. Yeah, there's so many of the skills in here that can just get absolutely trimmed. Not listing the bonus is such an odd choice. I don't really know why they would have done that for the Warhammer Fantasy. Yeah, there's no need for consume alcohol. No, it's yeah. Like in here, these feel practical: guile, gamble, folklore, education, eavesdrop. Right? Some of these could probably still get reduced down. Maybe like pilot doesn't necessarily pilot and drive, right? Maybe those don't necessarily need to be in there. Like not both. Tradecraft, okay. Counterfeit is fun. I think counterfeit, you got skullduggery as well, but maybe counterfeit because it's italicized. This is indicating that this is probably a little bit more specialized, right? Rumor, is rumor gossip? Yeah, I think rumor is gossip. Scrutinize. I mean, there are planes in this world. I'm like, so my thought is like, I see a lot more to it than just it being a retro clone. I think that the system is doing... This is what I've been trying to do the research on, is like how to talk about this differently, because I'm not going to lie, like a lot of what I had heard really about Zweihander was like, well, you know, Warhammer. Okay, Warhammer Fantasy Role-Play D100 system. All right, so like Call of Cthulhu, similar. Okay, gotcha. But really getting into it, I'm like, oh, okay, there is something to be said about this. And it's like, it's doing the mold bay thing of trimming back a lot of what's in the Warhammer core, but it is still giving you a lot of character expression. I worry, honestly, I do, that some people see this book and think, fuck no. They go, oh my god, this? Fuck that. When, in all I got that on the first try. Ow. That didn't hurt. I don't know why did I say that? this is a lot of character options, magic items, the trappings and stuff, right? Your professions, whatnot. This is a game master side right here. So, yeah. I just see. I feel like there's something different in here, you know? I can't ask. Oh wait, I can't ask 3+ people to just know this. Wait, I can't ask 3+ people to just know this. Am I having a stroke? What? Yeah, we're quiet. What's up? No, there's like at least 23 of y'all in here. So, I am also seeing this coming up. You just mean it's a lot? Yeah. It is. And I'm going to be working on making one for the I'm going to be working on making one for the Reforged. But insofar as what I've seen, it's like, okay. Here's their player's handbook. This is everything that's in the core rulebook, but it's just the player character options. It's still a thick boy. It's still not unsubstantial, right? But like, it's a little bit more manageable. This cover feels so fucking heavy. But Smith's Own, it has a purple bookmark this time. Right? It's a bit more manageable. I just realized. Hang on, is it going to focus in on that? Come on. There's a fucking Jack Russell Terrier getting swept up by this. There's a dog and then oh my god. Oh, that's funny. So yeah, I guess my kind of like closing thoughts on this. It's like, I think that Zweihander has done a lot to try and clean this up, but I think right now the current problem is mostly a layout and information conveyance issue. But I have seen a lot in like Flames of Freedom and some of the stuff that they're talking about, like if this is going to be the new like kind of layout format, right? Let me see here. Like if this is what they're going for, I'm kind of here for it. If they do a better job of like this being a way they break up the information, you know, like especially with, yeah, the way that they're doing this with the skill rank, they're organizing the information so much better. Yeah. I don't know. It's so weird to me. This is like one of the very few games that I've really heard people that keep constantly bringing up, like, well, you know, it's Warhammer. And I'm like, okay, have you looked at Warhammer and compared it? Like, you know, people in here were like openly mocking it in the chat. Because there's like real issues of reading the book. You know, there's real issues going on with the text for conveyance. Character creation is kind of chaotic and very, very thick. Thick 4. I don't know. But I think with that, I've got to pee. Where can I send you guys? Who's on? Who's on? Ooh. Oh, Fred's on. All right, go say hi to Fred, everybody. All right. Absolutely. I think that's going to be revving me up. That says break, but I'm going to be taking off for this one. You all go say hi to Fred for me. And, I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye. Later.